Hi, welcome to the Online Jewelry Academy. I'm Professor John Ahr and I'm your instructor. In this video, I'm going to speak to you about mandrels, specifically mandrels to be used in conjunction with your flex shaft. Now, in front of me, I have three different types of mandrels. I have a screw mandrel that has a top that screws down using a standard flat screwdriver. I also have another mandrel right here, which is used in conjunction with snap-on sanding discs. And this last one is a spindle mandrel that's threaded to accept tools that need to be secured by screwing inside of them. Now, each of these are used with a variety of different tools that could help you to grind, cut, sand, or even polish. All right, to work with these tools, you're going to need, obviously, a flex shaft, which is basically an electrical rotary tool. The motor is mounted up here, and it operates a handpiece that turns the tool. You control the speed of this tool with a foot pedal, kind of like the way that you would use a sewing machine. To secure the mandrels, you're going to need a chuck key. Now, for this example, I also have a Sharpie pen and a coiled up piece of copper wire that I'm going to cut. And I've got, of course, safety equipment. With these tools, you always want to wear safety glasses because power tools can spin off little pieces of debris that can end up in your eyes like that. So you want to work safely. Okay, let's talk about what each of these tools can do for you. The first one I want to talk about is the separating disc. Now, these are very thin abrasive wheels that are made to fit onto the screw-on mandrel. Now, let me open this up so you can see how to apply it. I can just detach the base of this from the screw top and then fit the separating disc onto the top piece that just screws into the base. Now, to make sure that these are secure, there is a little rubber washer on top of the screw-on mandrel. Unfortunately, it's so small I can't show it to you very well, but that will help to hold that screw in place. Now, I'm using a pair of flat nose pliers. You could use any pliers. And I'm just using that to hold the base of the mandrel while I just screw down a little bit tighter. Now, I don't want to screw too tight because I can actually break the separating disc if I put too much pressure on it. This then just fits into the handpiece of your flex shaft, and I'll tighten it with the chuck key. All right, now this piece, just so you know, can be used for a variety of things. The cutting or separating disc is most often used to remove the sprues from castings, but you could also use it to cut the jump rings off of a coiled that are coiled onto a mandrel, which could be made out of wood or should be made out of wood. You don't really want to use this on a metal tool because this is sharp enough to cut into any of your metal tools. Now, if you're afraid to use this tool because you don't know how accurate you are or you're not sure if you're going to be able to cut straight with it, what I'd recommend is take a Sharpie pen, and you could take anything. Here I'm just going to use this piece of strapping, and I'm just going to use that as a guide, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a straight line on the top of my material. Now, once I have a straight line, I can then just brace myself, and I'll give myself a little bit of speed on this, and I just want to cut a straight line. Okay, I didn't want to do that forever, but you can see I just cut a straight line on the top of this coil. Now, this is going to be a wider kerf than you're going to get, say, from cutting with a saw blade, but it can speed up your production. And you can see that I've just cut off this end piece right here that it was attached to the mandrel with. Let me pull that out. And you can see it makes a really clean cut. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to show you is this mandrel here, which goes with this sanding disc. Now this is a snap-on sanding disc, and this could be used, say, to grind a surface or to pre-polish or prepare a surface for pre-polishing. Now it just snaps right on, and that's great because that little brass area that snaps to the mandrel keeps it centered so that you're not going to have any problem with it spinning off. Now what I can do with this is I'm just going to use it to smooth off the top of this little disc that I've made. And let me just shift the piece and the hand piece. These little stands are great because they help you to stay organized, especially if you've got a lot of them set up already with different types of tools on top of them, be it silicone discs or sanding discs. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I can hold this even like a big marker if I want to, and I'll just get a little speed, and I'm just going to sand the top of this disc just a bit. So you can see it gives me a really clean result really quickly. Now these sanding discs, they come in a variety of grits, and they're coarse, so they're about 120, 200, 220, 320. Even coarser would be the Mizzy wheel. Now the Mizzy wheel goes on to this screw-on mandrel as well, and I've got another one right here. And what I can do is I can just slip the screw through the metal bushing that's in the center of it and screw this into the base of the mandrel as well. And again, if you want to make sure that they don't come loose while you're working with them, tighten them up a little bit with your screwdriver. Now this one is great because this grinding tool would enable you to say, if you had a like a flower shape or a cup shape element that had a sprue or some other element in the middle that you couldn't get down into that piece to sand, you could take this tool and actually grind to the center of it. So I'll put this into the flex shaft, and I'll show you how this one works as well. Here, I'll put this one back. Now I'll use this just to grind a little bit of an edge of this copper piece here. And you'll see how quickly it cuts. And this one you definitely want to be wearing your eye protection with. So this is a really quick cutting tool. Now this type of Mizzy wheel comes in a aluminum oxide and also in a carbide, and they're both heatless, so they'll keep your piece from heating up too quickly. All right, let me slip that back in there. All right, and lastly, the spindle with the threading on it, this fits into a variety of different types of silicone tools like these right here, these cylinders. Now, these silicone pieces can also be matched with the screw-on mandrel. These are like sandpaper, and in this case I have a coarse to a medium to a light to a very light type of sandpaper. Now there are a variety of products on the market that look like this. They might be different colors, slightly different shapes. You can just find the one that works best for you. So anyway, I'm going to put one of these heavy coarse sandpaper type silicone discs into the flex shaft. And I'm going to show you how it works. Now, if you notice, on the top of this little copper piece, there's a bit of a texture. So let me run it over that, and I'll show you how it works on top of that texture. Now, you can see that it quickly took the surface off. It skinned it very quickly, and it didn't completely obliterate that texture, but if I wanted to, I could probably use it repeatedly to take imperfections out of the top part of a metal surface. One last thing before I go. You could hear me clearly through this video because I was speaking without a dust mask. Whenever you use tools like this, be sure to protect your health by wearing a dust mask. I hope that this video helps you make great use of your flex shaft. You can find other helpful tips on the onlinejewelryacademy.com or here on YouTube on our channel. And don't forget that you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.